So welcome to the very first episode of As If That Happened podcast, where we're going to be talking about our favorite TV shows and movies and all the entertainment. I'm Shai.
And I'm Mina. What's up, y'all?
And today we'll be talking about my next life as a villainess. But before we get to it, how was your week?
It's like an up and down, I would say, because after getting the jab and everything, I'm still recovering from it and whatnot. So it's a bit, you're on the seesaw kind of feel. But what about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's been okay. Lockdown's been rough, but I think we've started this podcast as a result of watching a lot of binging a lot of shows and movies as a result of this lockdown. So what do you think the listeners out there who might be listening should be expecting from our podcast in the future? Today is just a taster of it.
I mean, that's so true. Honestly, expect the unexpected, I guess. Again, we've been I'm a binge watcher with a lot of these different shows that we'll probably watch. Movies, that's a different story, and also TV shows, that's another different story. But definitely I would say expect the unexpected and just join in and have fun. You'll discuss in the comments and whatnot. We'd love to hear everything that you guys have and whatnot, but honestly, just have fun.
Yeah, between us two, we cover a very diverse range of entertainment genres, and I think it'll be exciting to see what kind of things will interest us and what kind of things we would want to talk about, and our opinions on each other's favorite TV shows and movies and animes.
Yeah, because we don't really agree to a lot of things, which does surprise me, even though we've been friends for so long.
Right. But today, this was one that you introduced to me in a way. And when I came in to blind, I did not watch any teasers or any trailers, read any synopsis, didn't know what it was going to be about. So we are doing the first season of My Next Life as a Villainess, where the main character is called Katarina, who died, or in her past life, she died as a 17-year-old and was reborn into a game called
Fortune Lover.
And she was born into this character, Katarina, reborn into this character, Katarina. But because she loved this game, she knew the fate of this character, and she knew that she was meant to be a villain, and that at any pathway that she took in this game, her character would either die or be exiled. And so she wants to change her path. She wants to change her future. All she wants to do is survive. That's the main premise of the show.
Which is really interesting to see that she just wanted to survive after dying in a really young age. I can't see myself die in a young age, as much as I try not to.
Well, we've passed 17 years old now, so at least we made that milestone.
That's true.
Yeah, so the main point of the game is that this main character, Maria, I guess, has the opportunity to fall in love with four main guys: Prince Jordo, his brother Alan, Katarina's adopted brother Keith, and mysterious Prince Nicole. And two other characters there are Sophia and Mary. Mary is the fiancée of Alan, and Sophia is the brother of Nicole. And so she goes about to change her relationships with all these people so that she doesn't end up dying or in a bad fate in the game, so she can live a long life. But with any changes you make, it's all a ripple effect. And so there's all sorts of chaos that happen in the show because of all the changes she's made to just those relationships. So that's the brief synopsis. I just want to know, what's your overall impressions after watching the whole series? You were excited about this, like the premise of this show. Did it disappoint? Was it what you expected?
I mean, honestly, again, like what you've like mentioned before, it was kind of like we both kind of jumped into it not knowing what the whole kind of scenario was until that first episode kind of hit us, where it's like, oh my god, she hit her head, she was bleeding, and then she remembered her past life, which
Oh,
to
like
me still
I screamed at the first second when she just like I thought she just died, and I thought that's was like the first 30 seconds. I was like, what in the world is this? They
it was
cannot have this
bizarre.
8-year-old girl just die in the first 10 seconds of this show.
I mean, let alone is that they're already engaged at such a
Oh,
young
yeah.
age. Like, that is insane. Like, who thinks about getting married to someone after making them fall on the ground, getting like bleeding head, forehead with like an absolute X on it, and be like, okay, I made your life horrendously, terrifically terrible. I'm going to marry you now.
Yeah, there is definitely a degree of like I have to step away from what I know is like my reality sort of to watch anime, because some things like will offend you if you really think about them too closely, such as 8-year-olds suddenly being engaged. Um, but it's just, I mean, for me, the even the drawings were so cute. The art, excuse me, was so cute. I think it really worked really well. I was really pleasantly surprised by it because I did laugh at moments, and yeah, I was intrigued by the premise after the first episode. I was like, I am curious to see where this goes.
I know what you mean, right? It almost gave me like almost like Ironhide vibes, but not really Ironhide because it doesn't have the same vibe, like the same concepts, but it had the same like little giddy, like, haha, this is actually adorable. Or you had to like see how everything kind of played out on its own and whatnot. But yeah, like overall, I'm like, again, the images, the animation behind it, the storyline, it all meshed up really well that you could actually enjoy yourself like sitting down after work or like on the weekend trying to like binge watch it if you like myself, like to binge watch everything, freaking the whole entire 12 episode in one
Season.
season within like what was it, like 2 days or something?
Yeah, it was pretty quick. So how
It
about
was pretty
we'll
quick.
we'll go into a deep dive more into the series. The start, because it is a romance of sorts. We'll talk about the relationships, but first we should talk about the main character herself, the villain, the
Oh my
villainess
god,
turned
she's
main character, Katarina.
Katarina. Who is not
You
to love
laugh,
about
explain.
freaking who's not supposed to love her? She's absolutely dense in absolutely anything because all like again, all she really thinks about is how do I survive? How do I avoid getting killed at
Okay.
such a young age? And how can I live longer than what I did in my past life? Which is like, okay, the concept of it is brilliant. Like you get a second
Yeah.
chance to be reborn. And like how can you make a difference out of it?
When I first watched it, I thought we were going to go down or when like in the first few episodes, I thought it was going to go down this sort of path that was her becoming evil eventually. Like nothing was working, and eventually she was going to become like she had to succumb to being evil as per the game, because that was
Mm,
just the only way. Like I thought that's where it was going to go, but she maintained being the kindest, most dense person in that show. So essentially, because she is so kind, everyone falls in love with her as a
which then
friend
makes
and
us,
romantically.
yeah, which then towards the end it's kind of like, so who won? Like no one
Yeah, well, we're
took
only
her.
one season in so far.
I mean, that's true. Like, who knows what the second season's all about? And not only that, like, who's not to love a person who loves food? Okay, like
Yes,
to be
so
fair
that is
though,
one feature.
yeah, like to be
One
fair though,
feature of
she loves
hers.
sweets. And there's only so much that anyone, like a girl, can love her sweets. But this girl, absolutely give her like a whole entire platter of cookies and she will demolish it. You need about like 1,000 cookies and she'll be like absolutely happy before she vomits all of it out. That I think that's like one of her best characteristics, besides her being absolutely dense.
It's basically her love for food. It's one we can relate to. Though I'm not the biggest sweets person, so maybe not that,
Yeah,
but just being gluttonous, I can
yeah,
relate to that.
exactly. Like, who isn't to love that?
For sure. But it's those characteristics of hers that make everyone fall in love with her, starting with her actual fiance, Prince Jordo. What do
Oof,
you think about
yes.
their relationship?
I have to admit, I'm loving their relationship. It's like the little kitty jokey relationship, even though there's like that love interest, because again, she was to exploit what he was scared of so that she could survive from absolutely any pathway of doom. And the most funniest thing is that you actually see that in a few of the episodes where she chucks a toy just for fun. In case if something was to be exiled in one of those pathways, she'd be like, huh, in your face, Jodo. I know what I'm coming at, do you?
Yeah, I do think their relationship has that classic romance um sort of storyline. Um because he's the prince, he's the one that everybody wants, and she's just trying to stay alive
Exactly.
essentially. But I think there were moments, as I did tell you while we were watching, that there were moments where I'm like, is this a little creepy? Is he being a little creepy? But
I mean,
I think it was all just in him really wanting her as a romantic partner, and she was just not getting it. He was basically saying, I am not breaking up with you because
yes,
I'm in love
like
with you. And she's like, you don't have to stay with me though. And he's saying, no, but I want to stay with you. And she's just like, but
again,
you don't
her
have to.
character. Yeah, again, like her character just pops in there. Like, even though she knows that he could potentially go with someone else, and yet he's like, oh no, there's still a scar there and all that. And he tries to convince other people that, yeah, she still has a scar. So that means I have to stay with her, right? And they're like, yes, no, I agree. And there's absolutely nothing on there. But I think that's
Now,
what makes it fun.
no, for sure. I think I grew to like him more as the season went on.
Mm-hmm.
But there
And
is
normally that
one
never happens.
favorite other relationship you have with Jordo and Keith is your
Oh, that's like
number
golden.
one.
Like, that's like, I don't know about you, but having siblings and knowing that you're in a relationship with like someone else and you introduce them to your family, it can go either two ways. They either love that person or there's like some rivalry between the two of them because of how protective they are with their actual like sibling themselves. Like, I'm blessed enough that everyone in my family, they love like the person that I'm like seeing at the moment, and there's like no rivalry. But between like Jodo and also Keith, oh guys, like that's a whole new different level.
Yes,
Like
well, you know how I feel about Keith's relationship. I really have to pull myself out of that. So Keith is Katarina's adopted brother, and he sort of has romantic feelings for her as
interests.
well.
And
And I
it's
think that's what would make it very difficult is it doesn't matter if he approves of Jordo or not. He
because either way, he's trying
he
to break
wants,
up their
yeah.
engagement. Like literally like a few of the episodes, he's like, oh, not for long though. She might be mine to kind of say, or if not, like, please do break up your engagement. This is not the right way and everything else. But no matter what it is, he would find a reason to mess up that whole
Oh,
entire like event, which is absolutely hilarious. And it kills me inside to like see that happen, but it's the best thing.
what is also funny though is Katerina doesn't realize that Keith has these kinds of feelings. I mean, why would you? Is your
Mm,
adopted brother. But she thinks that Nicole, the other prince, the third prince in this story, in this whatever love triangle,
I feel like
quad
this is a mind
triangle.
map of like,
It's a whole star.
it's a mind
Um,
map.
10-point star there. She thinks that Nicole and Keith are actually a thing because she
Which to
doesn't
me is
understand that
real.
they're looking at her with those
Yeah.
googly eyes.
And like
She thinks it's
the
making at each other. or
It's
at
so
least Nicole's doing having those thoughts for Keith, which I found that just hilarious because I was like, how are you not seeing this? It's
yeah, like
it's right there.
it it's so crystal clear, but being her, she's like, oh my god, I need to protect my brother from this. It's another lead of like doom, I'm gonna die and everything. And it's just like it's golden.
It's I just everything that has happened though is just her just being nice and
Mm-hmm.
everyone falling in love with her. And all the
Yes.
other drama that happens in the background is them trying to get her to understand how much they like her. And
Yes, and
she's
also
not
trying
getting it.
to yeah, and also like trying to get her feelings to be recognized to not only herself but to everyone else around them. Which feelings is such it's a different topic for each person. Like
Oh, we're getting to
100%.
relationship. Oh yeah. I'm and then there's the fourth guy who doesn't actually know. Well, he kind of doesn't think he loves her, is
Ugh.
Jordo's brother, Prince Alan. They started off with a very competitive relationship, and one of my favorite of the 5 relations, 10 relations, how many relationships she's got, just because of how I think it was like a character improvement for him to have that competition and self improvement. And he realized I am good at things that my brother is not. I'm not always second best in everything. I do have my own, um, like my own things, like the things that I'm good at.
Yeah, like his own talent is slowly starting to shine out. Like after that one moment that Katerina actually opened up to him saying, your brother's actually scared of snakes. Whether you like it or not, like here, I'll prove you wrong. And I guess that's where he kind of realized and he got really opened up to a different perspective of the world. Little did he know that his feelings were like developing, which does lead us to the next character, Mary, who's his fiance,
His
which
fiance.
which
Mary is
I
one of the most hilarious characters in the
like
show, I
I
think.
yes, no, I agree. Like I feel like everyone in their life should have a Mary because I kid you not, this girl, as wild as she is, she's so lovable and she spices up every single relationship and every single moment that Alan has with Katerina. And I think this is like the
Yeah.
best thing ever.
I mean, to just further explain that, it's just that the reason that Alan doesn't realize that he loves Katerina is because Mary has basically brainwashed him to thinking, you don't love her. You
And
don't.
it's like he loved me instead of her because I
Yes.
love her.
And
And
I
it's
just
like
think
the
it's,
best.
I mean, I was saying before that I like that there's a potential, I should say, for a same sex relationship there because we have not only Mary, but we also have Sophia, who is Nicole's
Ugh.
sister. Although we,
Yes.
although Sophia is kind of at the same time as she is liking Katerina, she also wants her brother to kind of get in with Katerina. So I think she's only half in the race
Yes.
because she wants happiness on both of
On
them.
both ends, including herself. And also, I think what's also stopping her, which also surprised us within the whole entire season, was that her best friend was reborn into Sophia. So part of her best friend is like, no, you guys are only supposed to be like best friends and not lovers. But deep down, she wants to be a lover, which I found absolutely mind boggled.
I just love that they have this shared interest in romance novels
Yes.
because it's such a niche topic. And for Sophia never to have had any friends, to have someone who kind of understands these kind of likes, and when you find a friend who likes similar things to you, that you're just like, you don't think I'm weird and you're not going to run away at this point just because I told
Yeah.
you that I like certain things. And she found somebody who like accepts her. Like, I think out of all of them, if she doesn't end up with Katerina or they never have a romantic relationship, she would still stay friends with her.
Oh
Like I
yeah,
think
no,
all of them will still
100%.
stay friends with her. I don't mean like they wouldn't. I'm just saying out of all of them, she has this like shared
It's
interest.
like, yeah, it's like an untold relationship that's already solid from like the get-go. As soon as she said, "Hi, I'm Katerina Kleiss," and it's like, there,
Yes.
that's
I
it. Your
mean,
friendship is done.
in saying that, she does have interests with everyone. That's what makes all of the relationships kind of unique in a sense, because every single one of them have likes to her personality. And it might be because she's played the game before and that's why she likes those sort of things. But I
Maybe.
said that her and Alan have that competitive side. Her and Sophia have the romance books. Her and Mary have, I guess, sort of that gardening, because that's kind of where they started.
Oh yes, that's why they started was a gardening kind of club, and then her and her brother Keith is already like a sibling kind of connection, and then like Nicole is like kind of like that supporting system with Sophia, and Jodo is already engaged to her, and one more.
There is someone who kind of, I think, has her best interests at heart, because she can cook sweets, which is
Oh
the way to
yes,
Katarina's heart. So
you
she has
know,
a real leg up there, I think.
I feel like that might be the case because this one person, Maria, if a person can cook to a girl's heart, that's it. Like not only in like shows
I
and all
mean,
that,
for
but in
me
real
too.
life, yeah, like in real life, if someone can cook, then I'm sold. Like cook me anything you want, even if
Mostly
it's burnt,
because
I would
I can't
still.
cook.
Oh yeah, we both can't cook. Let's be real.
So it's like someone else cooking for me when eating is my like one of my
Eating
top
is
three
the.
passions.
Oh yeah, for
Uh,
sure. Like eating is the one thing that we both can do. So if someone can cook, let us know.
but yeah, Maria can make her sweets, which is, I think, just such a leg up. And I think, like, speaking on all their shared, everyone, like all those relationships having shared interests, that's like, and we find out in one of the episodes that Maria um, hadn't cooked sweets in a while from her mother. She
Yes.
hadn't cooked sweets in a while. And for her to start cooking sweets, that was appreciated by Katerina, which seemed like it just hadn't happened for her before. I could understand why she was falling in love with Katerina.
Yes. And only that it was so sad to actually see that like something that you really love and like you're passionate about, it's so hard to see that be like downfolded for who you are as a person and being different from everyone else. And for someone to actually accept that, that's like a blessing, even up until now.
Yeah, for sure. So we talked about Mary being very, very obvious with her love for Katerina, her
Mm-hmm.
wanting to just have her to herself and for them just to be in a romantic relationship together. But Maria was
Mm-hmm.
probably the second most obvious, in the sense that in the very last episode, Katerina goes to her and says, "Who do you love and who do you choose to spend? Like, who do you want to marry?" And she goes,
Oh my God.
nobody.
Yes.
It's like, well, who would you want to spend, all your time with? Well, with you. It's like, yeah, but you can't choose
Yes.
me. And in that moment, I was like, Katarina, she is just saying you, you're her
Like
choice.
every single one of them, even at that last episode, they were like, "Are you sure you don't like anyone?" Like, yeah, I like you. We're just like, oh my God, have I like defeated the doom path and
I
everything?
know.
And
I
it was
love
just
how her
like,
thought was like, oh, that just means I'm alive. That just
I
means I'm
live
not
for the
going to die.
next. Yeah, I'm like, I'm in the next semester. Yay, I can live more. And little does she knows that the next semester is like literally the next season, which is a whole new story that she's never played in her whole entire life.
Well, no, exactly. Well, actually, that brings us to, we've told you about the relationships, which makes up a bulk of the show. But what did you think about? So we've jumped to the end now. We've talked about those endings, but
Yeah.
there was an underlying plot to the series or the season. What did you think about it? Like, what did you feel
Honest,
about the plot?
honestly, in some way, even though the plot itself at the beginning was very like lighthearted and like you kind of found like the joy in it. but towards the end it does get a bit dark, and I guess like I didn't mind it, but some elements like the whole magic situation, like it's supposed to be a magic school, but they didn't really enhance the magic
I
within the
wanted
actual show.
more.
Yeah, right? Like how cool would it be to have like actual magic tricks happening? Like, okay, I understand that like some parts you don't need it, but it was really not emphasized within the whole thing. But I guess it's because the genre was supposed to be a romance comedy, more heavy than actual magical
Yes.
aspects of it. But I honestly, it wasn't a bad kind of plot twist because it was part of the game that they did mention that there was like a hidden pathway, and it's like a
Yes.
zero
And
point
that
zero
became
one
like sort
percent
of a mystery in there, but it
Yeah.
didn't feel like I just wanted a little bit more in that part almost.
Yes, like because I feel like they really crammed it within 3 episodes, and you can only do so much with 3 episodes.
Yeah.
You need
I
at
mean,
least
it's
like a
just very
couple
heavy in
five.
the relationship. But I think that's for me is more of a personal preference because I don't typically just watch romance centered TV or animes, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
not that I don't enjoy them, but I was
Mhm,
leaving
mhm.
wanting more with those like supernatural aspects, I guess. So the overall plot was just she didn't want to die, but there was a secret pathway and there was somebody with some dark magic. It just felt a little thrown in there at the end. It just whenever they talked about magic, I was just like, oh yeah, there's magic in this show. I forgot.
Literally every time there was an episode with magic, I'm like, oh my god, this is an actual thing. Like they're at a school where they're supposed to study magic, but they don't use it. Instead, you see Katarina in the fields doing gardening, and you see a whole bunch of people just come up to her and be like, I really like you. Hello, you have magical powers, use them.
I know it would just be fun to have like some sort of adventure, but I guess that's just not the point of the show or even the game because the game is a like a choose your path romance game than it is
Yeah,
a
it's like one of those
magic game.
otakus. Oh, not otakus, otamus or something. I'm pretty sure there is a phrase for it, and I'm saying it wrong. So I do apologize, y'all.
But yeah, I can't fault it for that, I guess. But I just as a personal preference because I do like a little bit of action, a little bit of drama, and a little bit of darkness, I guess, in my shows. Um, I would have
That's so
liked that a
true.
little bit explored more. But I do think though that the dark, so the actual villain, I guess, of the show turned out to be the president of the school or like the president of the student body, I should say.
Yes,
And he
no.
had dark magic. But the way that they had actually put that was extremely dark with like
That
the
was
mother like
actually,
sacrificing the
yeah.
kid. I
I feel
was
like I would be terrified. Like I would be mortified if I saw like my parents, or like you would have to relive that in like your own fantasy to kind of say. And also it had like a bit of like that equivalent exchange from like Full Metal Alchemist, where you had to like give one part of your body away in order to give another life, except this one was like transferring bodies, and it's like, why? And then you also had to get the dark magic in you because you had to do like you had to kill someone for the ritual. It's like, oh my god, this is too much. Like anyone who would want to watch it would could literally just be mortified from it.
yeah. I mean, just it just felt like such a jump from what was happening in the rest of the show. All of a sudden, it was like kids were dying. It was like, oh, although I
Kids were
did
like
say
getting,
I was shocked in that first 30 seconds where I thought a kid was gonna die in this show. So maybe it was with the
I
theme.
mean, maybe you did predict what it was towards the end. Like, who knows? You do have ways of predicting it.
That was the sort of big twist of the show was him being the big bad because he was a very nice character throughout to her to Maria. He was a good friend to Maria, ended up kidnapping her. How did
Yeah.
you feel when
And
that was revealed? That was the twist at the end. Like, how did you feel when you found out it was him?
oh, like I think it was like because you know how every title like even like the theme song, we knew that he had to play a special
Yeah,
role.
because he
So
was the only one that they had
he
not
was the only
introduced
one.
as a main
Exactly.
character, but he was in the main sequence. I was like, oh yeah, it's him.
It has to be him. And even though I knew that it was going to be him or had some like gut feeling about it, it still didn't feel very surreal. Like it still felt like a shock that I'm like, oh my God, why? But I think what really shocked me the most was the backstory as to how the whole thing happened.
Yes,
And
that bit
especially
was
because
more of a shock because
that was more of a shock. Because it's like this poor guy who's been trying to live his God knows how old he is life. His actual name was Raphael, but he has to take someone else's name just in order for him to live further. And
well,
it's
how
like you
did you
cannot
feel
do
about
much.
his resolution of that though? Because he was kind of forgiven pretty easily. Because personally,
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
true.
the
He
ending was a
was.
little bit flat. Well, okay, maybe this is just me still asking for more magic and more action. And I just felt like at the end, I was hoping for like even a Maria versus Raphael battle. It was light versus dark or something, where it's like a big clash. I didn't expect Katarina to fight. She can only make earth bumps.
Oh my
So
God, yes, her
that's
little
not,
earth bombs. There's only so much that she can do as well with her magical aspect. But no, I do agree. Like I thought that at least the four guys would make a big fight out of it, and then Katarina will come in and swoop in
yeah,
to
because she
conquer
did the
him.
talking, yeah. But
Yeah,
it was like
but
I wanted a
instead,
little more action before we got to that part.
yeah, instead she's like, I'm gonna be the bigger dude. I'm gonna save this person because I'm independent, y'all.
Well, there is still more to this series. There is a second season coming out, and that is what we do plan to talk about for the next few episodes. We're going to, and we'll see if
Weekly.
more magic or more action comes up, or if she ends up with any of them, or none of them, or every one of them. We've been talking about how everyone loves her, but her focus has been on her own life. And I think it's a disservice to say she has to choose one of them because she hasn't shown if she's romantically inclined to anybody yet.
Yeah, or little does anyone know that if she actually wants to continue living this life, and
Exactly.
who
So
knows, maybe her road to doom is literally waiting around the corner. Like no one will know. And literally, I'm actually excited for the second season. Like I've seen like a few teasers here and there, and they look
oh happy.
pretty.
I'm planning to go into this
Yeah,
blind again. So I will be as
I would
shocked
say
as I
keep.
was the first
I
time.
would say definitely keep yourself very blind to it because I think when you see the teasers, it's like it gets you a bit excited, but you don't know. Like when you see the scenes, it's kind of like, damn, I've already seen a bit of it. I know it's
Yeah.
happening.
I
So I
mean,
would say
if
stay away
even
from
the
them.
the the main the theme song gave us the spoiler for the big bad, so really going to go into this blind. But wrapping up, that's all for season 2, which is coming up. Let's wrap
Very
up
shortly.
season 1. Tell me one thing that was your favorite thing about the show, just one, your least favorite, or something that you wanted to see more of. And what are you excited to see in the next season? And then give us your rating for the whole season out of 5 turtles.
Okay, so just in my personal opinion, I really do enjoy again Keith and Jodo's relationship. I think that's what really highlights, and also Mary and Alan's relationship because it gives that extra mwah. And I want to see more magic. Like they have this amazing ability, but they don't use it. Like,
Yeah.
come on, you have it there. Do something about it besides your exam or like having to see someone else manipulate someone else. So I really am hoping that the second season has a bit more magical aspect, but also trying to keep that relationship combination and expanding it to see if we get a bit jealousy up in here, a good old style bachelor in paradise kind of jealousy mayhem. Um, but yeah, no, like out of 5 turtles, I would give this show like a good solid 3.5. Yeah. What about you,
For
Shai?
me, my favorite thing about the show, I just remembered my favorite thing about the show is those little sort of information dump with her brain, little brain
Yes, I
people.
totally
We didn't
forgot
talk
about
about
that.
that, but that's my favorite because I just think it's so cute and it's so smart. And I know a lot of animes do it, where they do those little like information dumps in a cute way. And I just think it's just so smart. It's always one of my favorite little things. What was my least favorite? I agree with you. It's the lack of magic and action. I guess it wasn't this kind of show, but I do hope to see more of it next season. Despite being pleasantly surprised, I think I'm just going to give this a 3 out of 5.
Like if you're looking again, like if you're looking for something that's like really lighthearted, then this is basically the show for you, that you can just sit down, relax, do absolutely nothing, and just enjoy a good laugh. But you know what? Second season is right here. Like we can literally sit down and watch second season, like straight off the bat if we wanted to. And we can always come back and say, hey, turtles, let's do it. Let's see how we feel about the second season and all this and that. So I really do hope that you guys are staying safe, especially with the pandemic going around. And again, if you're looking for something fun and exciting and you want to expand your list to watch during these tough times, I really do hope that you do enjoy our insights of my next life as a villainess, and let us know down in the comments if you do end up watching it, and what you guys really think about it, and rate it out of like what, 5 turtles. See how it goes. Like we'll love to hear what you guys kind of think about the show, along with what our insights are. But besides that, stay safe, y'all. Don't do anything too crazy, and don't forget, turtles, stay happy.